Welcome to the maiden edition of Career Talk. My name is Ajola Badmus, and I'd like to introduce myself this way. First thing first, if you meet me anywhere, just simply call me Baba D. I'm a facilitator and a trainer, and there are two different things. Facilitator is I organize meetings in the context of what you call servant leadership now, and a trainer is that I teach. Then what do I teach? I have worked extensively in the last 15 to 18 years in projects and in marketing. And what am I looking forward to? I'm starting a PhD in marketing in University of Lagos. Wish me well. And I believe that the future is bright. And I don't have a dream job, as we're going to be discussing some of those issues today. But however, I think I have a desired state. Today, I'm going to be introducing those in the panel that would cover the discussions, and then we would kick off some of the key discussions. Let's start, sir. So let's meet you. Tell us who you are.
My name is Uzodimo Sisiogo. Presently, you can call me UZ or Uzobi, whatever works for you. I'm a trained engineer, or that's what I did in my university days. But I had 24 years of experience in working in different facets of life. I work in e-commerce, I work in banking and finance. I'm currently working in healthcare. I've been in healthcare for the last...
You have journeyed.
I've been in healthcare for over 12 years. Basically, I'm very open to career development, helping the young people, and my current inspiration is moving towards technology. I'm looking forward to developing or becoming the next CEO of something in technology, which development has started.
Please, my brother, as you are moving, please take your word along. We are humble, sir. I don't mind to be the PO of the next CEO of the big tech. Thank you.
And so hopefully that will come to, and that would lead me to what I call a dream retirement, and not necessarily a dream career. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Abiba Badmus. I have a background in engineering, and currently I'm the head of corporate services for indigenous oil and gas company.
Too much money when you hear indigenous. As a matter of fact, I don't know if there is any international oil and gas company left in the country. So the baton of the money making machines have been passed on to you guys. Watch out for this space.
Well, my career has covered quite a lot of different areas: operations, shipping, quality, health, safety, security, and environment, and so much more. Looking ahead, I love providing solutions. I'm a solution provider, so I look forward to continue to provide solutions to the current situations that we have in the country. Thank you very much.
I am Victor Momo, software developer, as well as a trainer, software development related courses. I have also had experience teaching. I've worked in a factory before as a machine operator. I have ventured into music at some point in my life. Also podcasting, but I didn't really do much, right? So that's there. But majorly my journey has been along the line of teaching as well as computing. Summary as to where I want to be. I still want to be a teacher for sure, because teaching is me, essentially.
No.
But I'd also want to establish a multinational company.
Fantastic.
In tech.
Please take your brother along. I remain loyal. I'm available for work, not close to retirement. The bone is ready.
My name is Hope Okumaya. I am a facilitator. I facilitate sales and marketing courses. My career has evolved from trying to start a business and then moving into customer service to sales, and now building my career in marketing. What am I looking for in the nearest future is to one day become the chief marketing officer. I think it's even changing now, because I can see a lot of women becoming CEOs of multinational companies. I definitely want my name on that stone. Yes, basically the bigger picture for me is to be able to show and help organizations to build winning strategies, and also let them understand the importance of marketing and sales. It is not a tiny part of your organization, it is the heart of your organization.
Preacher.
Or break your organization. Yes, and that's me.
So it's going to be a fantastic discussion today. We're going to touch on some touchy issues, as I say, and I would want us to also listen to us with an open heart, and then you are free to drag us like Tiger Jen. Thank you very much. The discussion will kick off. Now, for me, I will give a quick rundown. When I was growing up, I was made to understand that what I need to do was to finish primary school, G2 and common entrance. Once I do that, I get into what? Secondary school. That is backed up by an idea or a career. Once I'm done with my secondary school, I would get the course that I'm planning to get in the university. I'll walk into that course. I'll do that course for 4 years. I'll finish that course at the end of 4 years, and then I'll serve my country for 1 year, and then I would proceed into that dream job. Linear. However, that's not what happened. Primary and secondary school happened as planned. Damn, joint admission matriculation board examination. I still ask myself today, the designers or the orchestrators of that exam jammed me. I wanted to do architecture. I got building. I was hoping to finish in building. Then I finished in business administration. And then the job path, I don't want to talk about it. Yes, that was another drama on its own. And today I have rebirthed, reinvented, transitioned, transformed in different career paths. I would say the biggest life for me is that you are going to have a linear journey. Now, let me start with my good friend, Mr. Uzo. What would you say is the biggest myth or biggest lie for you?
Thank you for having me. I would not approach it from the angle of biggest lie, but maybe biggest myth. Basically, when we're all growing up, what we were told, basically just similar to what you just described, is that if you want to be this is what you need to study. And when you study this, you'll be, on the top of the food chain. What that did is, for people like us that were looking towards that direction, we were now caged to put in a lot of effort in studying because we did not believe that we could do something else and be successful. Take, for instance, I wanted to be a doctor, or rather I was scheduled to be a doctor. I wanted to be an engineer. And then at some point, the argument was so fierce in growing up, that you're good in this, you're good in that, so you need to put more effort in this to achieve your career. That myth of having to put in so much effort in studying and getting that career, and then once you get that career, it's all over. So those that seem to be average students were like the ones that there's no hope for them. And unfortunately, experience now tells me that it's not supposed to be that way. Actually, looking back, you see that a lot of our parents were investing in us. They're looking at us. They're looking at us as their long-term investment. Some of them.
Have you delivered your return on investment?
I'm delivering. I'm delivering as much as I can. They were looking at us as long-term investment, or trying to repair their failures where they probably wanted to be and they did not reach that height. The next best thing was to make sure that the children or child follows that particular path so they can have pride, not taking into consideration different skill set that this child probably has that can be very useful in his or her career.
So if you pin this down to the misconception, what would you say?
I would really think that parents, I would like to saddle it on parents, should actually, from the grassroots, expose their children to skill set and see what tribes, and see where their love and affinity moves towards, and then be able to guide them. The other thing is also, we are so fixated in this country that if you don't go to have a formal education up to university, you're probably going to be a failure, which isn't true. And this is just in hindsight, realizing that you could be not technically skilled in the brain, but you could be able to use your physical energy to do sports, to do some.
I like that. Thank you very much for that insight.
And develop cash. That's the biggest myth for me, and I think it's born down to how our parents planned our own futures.
All right, thank you very much. All right, what would be the biggest myth for you?
Thank you very much for that question. For me, I would think that the biggest myth was that when you leave school, you have a straight career path. Truth is, life is very dynamic. People we know these days, most people have had 2, 3, several career paths along the line.
How many have you had?
Quite a number. I think people are not educated enough early to know that there is no one straight path to success, and that life is very, very dynamic, very undulating. There are the highs and lows, decisions you have to make along the way, and that you have to be prepared that when there's a change, it doesn't mean that it doesn't signify failure. It just means that you're probably moving in another direction to get to the goalposts. I'll use football terms. For me, the biggest myth is that we're not informed enough, early enough, that there's going to be a lot of change along the way, and we should be ready for that change. Embrace it as it comes, and then ensure that we put in our best to make sure we make the best out of it when it comes.
Does it not mean that the term career path is a construct that we should eradicate because you called it a career path? Well, I would have preferred that you call it career whirlwind or career what? Sailstorm. Because if you say career what? Path, a bush path will take you to the river, right? But this one looks like what? A career
Well, I think that
zigzag.
you can't completely remove it, because whilst a lot of people find their own career
Journey.
different, we have a lot of people who still stick to one career path from the beginning to end. I'll give the examples of the doctors and the people in the financial sector. Most of them start off as finance people and end up retiring as finance people. But the people in the medical line, they start off as medical people and they finish as medical people. But it's not the same for also some people who are lawyers. They start off as lawyers, they end up as, they finish their career or end their career as lawyers. It's different for different people, but it's just that
Some of us will have career journey.
Yes,
some people have career path.
Yeah, so it's different.
I think I'm
And
having
there's
a career journey because I'm a podcaster now.
There's no one size fits all, and like what my neighbor here has said, early enough, if people are sensitized, or you know who you are, your skills, your abilities, and you're able to channel those abilities to the right.
So what's the myth for you? What's the biggest misconception?
Biggest misconception for me, like I said when I started, is that it's a journey.
Not a linear path.
It's not a straight road. It's not a straight road. It has a lot of branches.
Thank you very much for that insight. What would you say is the biggest misconception, lie or myth, as you would explain it?
For me, it's that school sets you up to be a career person, or sets you up on your career path.
That's a different.
Right. So speaking for myself, I have dabbled into tons of stuff. I remember when I started, I was asked what I wanted to do. I once said I wanted to be an astronaut, a pilot, a scientist, this, that, an actor, right?
Astronaut,
a musician.
I
had a lot of things on my hands that I wanted to get doing at some point. I settled with mechanical engineering because I felt it was the center of everything that was going on in my head. I finished and I still was not feeling like I was where I was supposed to be. There was this mindset that at the end of the class, or at the end of everything mechanical engineering, I should be able to pick up a machine and be able to explain like what exactly is going on in this, or a car has an issue, I'll be able to fix it and all that. But it even left me with more questions, and I was looking like I didn't even know what I was going to do and all that. Particularly for me, I don't think school defines the career path. I think, just like we've established, it's more like a career journey for some people, and it's a journey of self-discovery. Basically, you take one step, you discover yourself. Oh, this is interesting. Then your next step should be based on what you've discovered about yourself, and it keeps progressing till you find. There are some. I used to say something. There are some people that what they will be doing in the next few years is not even in schools yet. They're not offering it as a course. If you are hell-bent on school defines your career path, you are lost. Because what you are supposed to be doing is not yet even in school. It's just like Thomas Edison when he invented electricity. As at that time, there was nothing like that in schools. Imagine he settled for what was taught in school. Probably would not have what we have right now. Right, so a lot of people need to step out of their comfort zones, observe themselves, discover themselves, get to know what exactly drives them, then use that to take the next set of steps.
The biggest misconception for you would be?
That school defines your career path.
Interesting. What would be the biggest misconception for you? Is it a lie? Is it a myth?
I think it's a lie, and it's that school determines who will be successful.
I fought for good grades. I battled for good grades. I got good grades. I struggled for a long time. I can relate to where you're coming from.
It's something that I think my mom said over and over and over and over and over again, and people around me kept saying it. It just literally stuck with me that if I don't finish school, I'm definitely going to be a failure. I'm definitely not going to be successful. And my choice for studying accounting at that time was because I saw a pretty lady at the bank, nice wig, nice dress. It just looked like, right, all dressed up and looking nice. At least if I tell my mother now that I want to be an accountant, it will make sense to her.
The story sold. The idea.
Yes. And then I put a lot of effort in secondary school to make sure that I had good grades in accounting, just to force myself to like it, until I actually started studying it in university, and I realized that it was one of the biggest mistakes of my life. I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have waited a bit to really find out what exactly. I was so anxious to say I want to get into school because they told me that if I don't.
So I'm going to have to say this. I think that's something that I struggled with in the university as well. I felt like when I got into University of Lagos that there should have been an orientation, and a proper one, not a whitewash program, a proper one where a couple of people that have been through that journey would have come to talk to us about what this journey would look like, and then that would have prepared me a lot better. Even in secondary school, and I'll tell you why I'm saying this, is that I had the conversation so many times where they said further math at the time was not compulsory, and I was going into an engineering related course, and the first set of classes I had in my first few years were differential calculus, and I was underprepared for that, grossly underprepared. I can relate to what you're saying when you say that you did well at a level in secondary school, but then by the time you got to university, it was a different ball game.
It was a total different ball game. In fact, it was that bad that I was already contemplating dropping out of school. I think I even left school for like 2 to 3 years because I couldn't continue. It was a whole struggle. How do I go to school and then hate what I'm doing? But then I realized that what you love sometimes might be something that you have to go through a particular process or journey to discover. And it's also very possible that you're still in school or even be done with school and you still do not know what you want to do with your life or with yourself about that period. So for me, the greatest myth was if you don't go to school, you will not be successful. And I think it's very unfair to say that to young minds who are trying to really navigate through life.
All right, thank you very much.